Are you ready for an unforgettable experience? Get ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get hype.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Late Night Hype. Big Game James, Skywalker Still, Law Nation, The Voice, with a special guest in the building, Mr. Exclusive himself, Mike Fisher. What's up, Mr. Mike? How's it going, Fish?
How long was that intro?
It all depends which part.
Oh my goodness!
Hey,
Off the
come on
top,
now.
bro.
You know, we gotta get everybody loosey goosey and get their drink and everything on before we bring
This is the late night hype, Fish. You gotta get the
late
juices
night
flowing.
hype, dog. You on the late night hype?
We played the outro. As long as we played the intro, it's a 20-minute show and we're done. Another show, everybody.
Wow, man. What's
Yes,
going
indeed.
on, man?
Let them wait.
Gotta build it up. What's up with you, though, Mr. Exclusive? How's your day? I know you're busy all the time.
Not too busy to first of all to learn from you guys, and you know your combined age, all of you. You're 28, you're 26, you're 14, and
Okay.
That's the lowest one I got was 14.
Yeah.
For real. Like, hey, you gave me a young one. I'll take that. I'll take that young age.
You wouldn't believe how old me and James are, actually.
Exactly.
a lot of people say the Law Nation looks like James Harden, but if you saw James Harden, have you seen James Harden on the court tonight?
Ooh, he big.
James Harden on the court tonight is so fat.
That's what we was just talking about.
He looked like he ate Law Nation and ate Luka Doncic all at the same time.
Getting them.
This might be terrible YouTube video. Here's a picture.
This is not.
It's a joke. Here's a picture of Fat Harden.
He blew up.
Wow.
There you go.
Get in my belly.
Yeah, he swolled up.
Hey, but you know what, Fish? That's him forcing his way out of Houston. You know what I'm saying? He gonna and then bet you he lose that weight real quick.
As soon as he goes to Philadelphia,
We'll see.
or
You wouldn't want him in
give it up,
Dallas.
Simmons.
can I be frank about it?
Stop
Obviously,
doing that, Law.
he's so brilliantly talented. He really did reinvent basketball.
Mm-hmm.
His ability to draw a foul is a reinvention of basketball. But
flopping.
But his teams don't win. And he's the reason.
Exactly.
And so like James Harden and Westbrook on the same team should be pretty unstoppable. Why weren't they? And I know everybody's going, oh, you put him with Kyrie and Durant. I'm like, do it. I'm not scared because something will implode because of Fatty.
Call me Fatty now.
He is fatty.
Those two, when that happened, I was like, okay, on paper, 2K, you look at Harden and you look at Westbrook, that's fun. But in real life, no chance in hell. They both need the ball too much.
Psychologically, they say eat their feelings.
Right.
James Harden has a lot of feelings.
He's on a roll tonight.
He's going ham on Harden, dog.
Hey, James, get fish off Harden.
Hey man, let's jump off the top turnbuckle because remember you said 20 minutes. You talking, already took up 3, so now we got 17.
Right.
You feel me? So let's get it together over here. You feel me, big dog?
He's funny.
Hey, but for real, we got a quick question for you right off the top turnbuckle. We talking about Mike McCarthy. I've been seeing your tweets and you've been going. I ain't gonna say you've been going off on McCarthy, but it seems like you've been like, okay, well, you've been asking this about Garrett, but what about McCarthy? Why is this not happening with McCarthy? Why is this? Hold on. Let me finish it. I'm asking, what are your kind of thoughts about McCarthy? Because you've been going strong on him. Are you okay with the hire? What are your thoughts about McCarthy, as a whole, as it relates to the Cowboys?
Jeff Kavanaugh is one of my best nephews. And I love him to death. But Kavanaugh has done me wrong on 105.3 The Fan by making this about Garrett. My criticism of McCarthy has nothing to do with Garrett, Parcells, Chan Gailey, Tom Landry, Jimmy Johnson, Dave Campbell. It has nothing to do with who was here before. Now, that's nothing to do with who I like and who I don't like. My criticism of this head coach is based solely on, 2 things, 3 and 9, up until the Bengals game. If you go 3 and 9, you should get criticized. I don't care if your quarterback got hurt. I don't care if the dog ate your homework. I don't care if your mom didn't love you. If you go 3 and 9, you get criticized. And if this was Philadelphia, New York, Boston, he'd be getting roasted. So McCarthy should be glad that he's in softy DFW, where it's America's team, so everything's fine. Everything's gonna be fine. Everything's glitz and glamour and shiny, but this isn't shiny. Jerry comes out on 105.3 The Fan and says he's really impressed with all the things that Mike McCarthy has overcome.
Well, that's Jerry,
What are you talking about? The Cowboys have had all the same problems that other teams have had. Jerry goes, well, he's overcome COVID. If you're 3 and 9, you didn't overcome COVID. COVID overcame you. If you're 9 and 3, you overcame COVID.
Facts.
So I go back to when McCarthy was first hired. And by the way, it's not that I don't like him. There's about 12 of us who have met Mike McCarthy, and I'm one of them. And I liked him fine. We had a coldie, and we talked about his dad being a cop in Pittsburgh, and it was all great. But I said this about all the coaches that I've covered, starting with Jimmy. If you go 1 and 15, out of every 16 things that I say and write about you, 15 should be bad. If you go 15 and 1, out of every 16 things I say about you, 15 should be good. That's just how you're graded.
Yeah. And
so I'm not anti-McCarthy. I think it's puzzling that the Cowboys didn't really interview anybody else. Why didn't they interview? And Marvin Lewis was a courtesy, a Rooney Rule. Mm-hmm. Why didn't they interview Matt Rule, who's like right across the street?
Fish, I heard that Jay Glazer had a lot of influence on Mike McCarthy being hired. I didn't know he was connected to the franchise like that.
Well, Jay Glazer, there's a couple guys in the media who have earned the ear of people who run teams.
Okay.
people listen to Jay Glazer. He's plugged in, so that's okay. Rick Gosselin is like invented draft coverage in the newspaper. So when Rick Gosselin would write, the Bills are interested in Joe Blow, the Cowboys listened. So sometimes the Cowboys would even ask Rick Gosselin, are the Bills really interested in Joe Blow? And that would help the Cowboys. And Chris Mortensen. And he's got Jerry's ear too. So those three guys are guys that the Cowboys have visited with. And I think it's fine. I think the more information is the better, as long as Jay Glazer didn't make the hire. And by the time Mike McCarthy comes to town, serves as the only interviewee, sleeps over, has himself some Johnny Walker Blue, pretends like he's analytics guy, which he's not, and pretends like he sat that over the course of 2019, he sat and all the Cowboy film, watched all the stuff, and he didn't.
Bamboozle.
That part makes you feel like the Joneses got hoodwinked a little bit, which doesn't mean I'm against McCarthy. It's good for all of us if Mike McCarthy's Cowboys win a Super Bowl.
Yes.
So I think that'd be awesome. But they were 3-9 going into Cincinnati, and so why are we talking about a Super Bowl? Let's talk about something that Jerry thought was ridiculous. He said today on the radio, it's not ridiculous to question the job security of 3-9 coaches. In my job on the radio at CowboysSI.com or here, if out of every 12 things I did, 9 of them were failures, you should question whether or not you follow me on YouTube.
See, what we want to hear as fans is Steven and Jerry come out and say exactly what Aldon Smith said. Hey, we suck. Okay? We're going to try to get it together, but right now, we suck. So when they come out and they try to, feed us all this rainbows and Skittles and everything, we see right through it. And as you see right through it. And just, to me, it's one of those things where it feels like Jerry he doesn't like being wrong, which no one does, right? But he's not going to come out publicly and say it. But 2, could we be going down a similar path? Remember, he was saying some similar things about Jason Garrett. Oh, I know he's the guy. He's our guy. He's saying those same things about Mike McCarthy. Granted, it is year 1, but like you said, 3-9, 4-9, that's not good, man. It's okay to say it's not good.
Right.
I don't know if the comments are saying that I'm blowing smoke up Jerry's butt.
I haven't listen. If you,
they can
hey,
see
Fish,
the comments.
if you go,
see the comments there,
they go ham in the comments.
Tread lightly in those comments, Fish.
Yeah, they're gonna go ham in the comments.
I've never denied my like friendship or admiration or whatever you want to call it with Jerry Jones. But I just said Jerry got hoodwinked.
Mm-hmm.
How much harder do you want me to be on it? There's some people and even media people that like make fun of Jerry's age or his wrinkles or his face or can I swear on this show?
Yep.
You can do whatever you want.
Just
the late night hype.
Making fun of Jimmy Johnson's hair, making fun of Jerry Jones's face. That's not analysis. That doesn't get us anywhere. So leave that shit to the amateurs. We're trying to talk here. I'm talking as somebody now. And by the way, I am only drinking Diet Coke, so don't make any mistakes.
Well, listen, we ain't.
Yeah. This is chilling. This is Irish coffee for me.
I mentioned Chris Mortensen and Peter King's in this group and Jay Glazer, but I'm telling you, not bragging. Nobody has sat down and had more conversations media-wise with Jerry Jones in 30 years than me. So do I like him? I do. But that doesn't mean he gets a pass for everything he does. And somebody makes a great point over here. Todd, Jason Garrett's just a clapper. And like some of the most respected media people in the country were doing that. That's not analysis.
Yeah, you're right. They were.
Right.
And then now that Jason Garrett's gone, and by the way, I have a friendship with Jason Garrett, which doesn't mean I didn't call for his firing, which I did on national TV on the NFL Network before the Chicago game on the field. I called for and predicted Jason Garrett's firing, even though I like him. It has not, my liking him has nothing to do with one or the other. But now we see, other coaches clap. Other coaches chew gum. Other coaches say process. God almighty, we killed Garrett for process.
Mike said it. Mike McCarthy on the press conference.
They all say it.
Yeah.
Rick Carlisle of the Mavericks says it all the time. But because Rick Carlisle has earned our respect, we think, Carlisle, process. But then we make fun of Jason Garrett for the same thing. That's not analysis.
No.
So please don't paint me in the corner of being with those dolts. I'm not one of those dolts. I can separate my affection, friendship for somebody and still say he sucks. In fact, I'll tell you guys an old story where I invented this for myself. Because of my relationship with Michael Irvin when he played. I never had to write that the Cowboys had a bad game, in my opinion, ever. Because I'd go into the locker room, in the bathroom with Michael Irvin, and he'd tell me, here's what you should say, and quote me. Blah, this sucked, that sucked, I sucked, he sucked, they sucked, this game plan, this play. So I didn't have to say Michael Irvin had a bad game. I quoted Michael Irvin saying he had a bad game. And that's still the best way to do the job that I do. My opinion doesn't matter near as much as the guy who missed the tackle. I want to hear his opinion why he missed the tackle, not my dopey exclusive opinion.
Hey, don't shit on the exclusives, man.
Right. That's a good little brand. That's a good little brand.
I told you. All right.
We ain't hating right now. We like you talking right now.
A lot of us be asking this right here. Who are football guys? Is Jerry Jones a football guy? Is Stephen Jones a football guy? Are these guys really in the trenches with the football stuff? Or what's going on? What's the true storyline with that?
All right. May I?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yes, sir.
We're waiting.
Law, are you a football guy?
Hey.
Yeah.
I think you are too.
I see where you're going, Fish.
More about football than Stephen Jones?
Say again, I didn't get you all the way.
Do you think that Law, the football guy, knows more about football than Stephen Jones?
From a relative aspect, I think that he probably have more experience than me, to be honest.
Therefore,
what?
So he's a football guy.
He's got to be. If you are,
true.
If you're a football guy, Stephen Jones has been a general manager or assistant general manager of a pro football team for 30 years, and then played 4 years at Arkansas.
Facts.
He's got to be.
I see where you're going with that, Fish.
I know.
Okay,
He's
can I
painting the
jump in there,
picture.
Fish?
I want to see this
Can I
picture
jump in
being
there,
painted
Fish, on that?
completely, though.
So okay, I hear what you're saying. He played 4 years at Arkansas, and he was raised in it. So yeah, he has more maybe experience than us in a sense. I mean, I coached 15 years, but I didn't do it on that level that he's doing it. So I would say yes,
Facts.
he has more experience for sure. But why is he so gun shy? Why does he not want to touch free agency? I hear what he's saying, that we don't want to overpay for, regular players, but there are really good players that are young that you can jump out there and still sign and improve your team. We have seen other teams time and time again get one or two. You don't have to splurge, but you get one or two good free agents that can make something. Why do we always wait till the third wave to get somebody and get the bargain people that aren't really making a difference with the team? And we all know it. They are not making the difference. And then you're getting people that are over 30 and you're signing them to 1 or 2 year deals. Why don't he go out and get one of these young ones that can make an impact on the team?
100%. I personally agree with you, but that doesn't make their foundational philosophies wrong. It just makes them different from yours and mine.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't
But
make it wrong.
is it not hurting the team though?
Well, my question for you is there really a right and wrong way to build a team?
There's
If there
different.
was the right way, why didn't they all do it?
There's different ways to skin the cat.
There's 32 different ways.
Yeah, but you do have to question where you see trends in the league. The Cowboys tend to not do it. We spent the least amount of money at the defensive up the middle, defensive tackle and safety than any other team in the last 8 years. But if you look at those same 8 years, you'll see defensive tackle and safety has been an important position that we tend. And this is just an example that we tend to ignore. So
Yeah,
why don't
and I know you guys aren't doing this on purpose. I don't want to be on here like I'm the Cowboy homer.
No.
We ain't even coming at you like that.
No,
big
not
dog.
at all.
You know what I'm saying? We just talking. What you talking look with us? When you talking real stuff to us and we listening. You feel me? Right. We ain't hating on everything you saying. We having real conversation right now. That's all. We ain't. Nobody looking at you like that.
I agree, but I see the comments make it sound like.
Don't worry about them, though. Don't worry about them. That's the people.
I'm not defending. I'm explaining their view.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I agree with their view. I just said I agree with the view that there are times to spend money in free agency, and this team generally doesn't believe in that. But and I'm friends with Mickey Spagnola. But if you guys, and I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about commenters.
I understand.
If you want a guy who's like saying everything's okay with the Cowboys, then get Mickey on this show. I just said 3-9 gets you abused by me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're 3-9, you did not do a good job, not only in free agency, as you point out, you didn't do a good job in anything.
Right.
If you're 3-9, nothing. And so I am not a defender of the Cowboys. I'm not an apologist of the Cowboys. I'm an explainer of the Cowboys. And I'm lucky enough to have the access that I do. So I feel like that I can put into words some of their thoughts. Doesn't mean I agree with them. I'm just telling you what they think. And so, does that make sense?
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Just like the perspective that you put me in earlier.
Right, that's what
I was
I'm
like,
saying.
damn, I really got no room to get out of that bag. I can't get on this show and say, yeah, I know more than Stephen Jones. I have more experience than him, right? So all we can do is look back at this thing and say, okay, based on the decisions they made in the last 10 to 15 years, it's been right in the middle of the road. And we want what's best for this team. They come out saying that they love or like their guys, and we look at it like, man, at least bring somebody in for a cup of coffee. Just like on your report with Ron Leary, he was right down the street. You didn't have to go through the growing pains, right?
Oh, they blew it with Ron Leary. And I talked to Ron Leary. I mean, I talk to him every week still, and I talk to him every day during that. They blew it. They asked him to join them a week after he was telling them, I want to join you. They said no. The next week, on a Thursday, they called him and said, okay, we're yes. And he goes, you're 4 days late. I just told my wife I'm going to retire. They blew it. He'd be the starting left tackle for the Dallas Cowboys all year. And you'd never have any worries about it. So I'm not defending. There's no defense for 3-9. That's not me.
Well, let me ask you this, Fish. Since we're talking about this with Mike Nolan, we've seen the defense, we've seen the rating of the defense, we've seen Jerry come out and said, maybe, I don't really think we should have did all the changing that quick and this and that. So Mike Nolan, what is really going on with him? Is he going to be on the outs? And I was talking about this yesterday on the show. Let's say he go out. Let's say they get rid of him. We got a guy named George Edwards who it seems to me don't really have a name for a job. And we know Cowboys love in-house. Would the Cowboys say, Joneses, we're going to make the hire if we remove Mike Nolan. We're going to find a defensive coordinator. We're going to let Mike Nolan do it. What's your thoughts on that the whole defensive coordinator thing?
Okay, so I was there when Jimmy quitter.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Quitter.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Go ahead, give the story.
And in comes Barry and a bunch of really good assistant coaches, good guys, good assistant coaches. We're like elbowing and clamoring.
I want it. Yeah.
to be the second guy on the totem pole. And that's why the head coach should, by and large, be in charge of his staff. But he hired Mike Nolan with all his qualifications, and also their friendship. And that didn't work. I have to sidebar. Fish sucks because he blocks folks. I'm going to tell you the only people I block on Twitter you must be talking about.
Fish ain't playing them.
People I block. I block the racist.
Fish wild.
I block the school racist. And so if somebody comes at me on Twitter and I can sense it, there's something racist about their tone. And then I go look at their feed before I make my final judgment. And it's a cesspool. I block you. And then the other person I block is if you say, Fish, you're just like Skip. I don't even let the last two letters get out of your mouth. You're just like Skip. I block you. It's the only two people I block. So I do not block very many people.
I definitely don't think you are like Ed Warder. If you disagree with Ed Warder, blocker. If you disagree with Fish, you cool.
Yeah.
You cool, yeah.
I love Ed, but I'm there to communicate, and I'm there to learn. The as you kids, you 14-year-olds, you 3 14-year-olds will learn. So like the older you get, the more you're going, man, I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
Like it was only like 8 years ago that Jason Hatcher, and I won't say the specifics of it, but Jason Hatcher sat me down and taught me a defensive, defensive scheme thing.
Yeah.
That's so fundamental. I'm too embarrassed to tell you I didn't know it. So I'm 52 years old, and Jason Hatcher's teaching me something that I should have known 30 years ago. So I'm always learning.
Yeah.
Here's my Mike Nolan problem. The Cowboys tried to, out of arrogance and ignorance, the Cowboys tried to do something that is unprecedented. It had never been tried before. It'll never be tried again. No offseason, no OTAs, no minicamp, no spring, no summer, no preseason games, no real training camp. And they tried to install a new defense on Zoom meetings.
True. He lied.
That's what went wrong. They got on Zoom meetings with players they'd never met and said, you're going to move over here and you move over there and look at this. Here's a blackboard and we're going to do this. You can't install a defense on Zoom meetings. And the arrogance of the McCarthy Nolan staff to think that they're such powerful teachers. Can you imagine me? Can you imagine? It wouldn't be me teaching math because I'm terrible at math. What's the hardest kind of math?
What?
Trigonometry.
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 Apparently, none of the four of us are very good at math.
No, they said there would be no math.
Economics, econ, all that stuff. Yeah.
Law, can you please teach us, trigonometry here in this Zoom meeting? Go. Can you
Google it.
So that was the Mike McCarthy. That was the Mike Nolan mistake, authorized by Mike McCarthy. Jerry Jones, by the way, said his fault too. He authorized it too. The buck stops there. Never tried before. Will never be tried again. Had they taken this same unit minus Byron Jones and played the same style and system of last year, this would be a mediocre defense because that's what it was last year, middle of the road. Instead, they tried to install something new. It was moronic. Not that the system's wrong. There's no such thing as a wrong system. But you can't teach a system on Zoom meetings, and that's why the defense is bad. They took good players and made them bad because of Zoom meeting installation.
I'd be very interested to see, because there's other coaches, first-year coaches with new teams that are having success or what have you. But I would be very interested. You kind of got my brain moving here. Go back and see those defenses, if they had new defensive philosophies in that same time frame or not, because that is very true. And then we always talk about it. This defense requires time and real practice, not Zoom meetings. But when you go, and I asked Darian Thompson this earlier, when you go from a conservative 4-3 defense to a drastically change into a 3-4 hybrid complex defense, and with a totally new different coaching scheme from the top to the bottom, That has to be challenging. I mean, no matter who you are, I don't care how good you are, it has to be challenging. Hell, we saw Hall of Fame safety struggle a little bit to grasp the Ravens defense and Earl Thomas, and he's a Hall of Famer. You know, so just imagine trying to get all this together here through Zoom, as you stated.
And fellas, I don't mean to. It's not all on the coaches. It's on everybody, as I like to say. It's everybody from the owner to the janitor. The janitor at the Star is a 3-9 janitor. Yeah. That's how football works. But tomorrow morning on Cowboys SI, we've got an interview, one-on-one interview with Darren Woodson. And wait till you read it. CowboysSI.com. He roasts the Cowboys players on defense. Roasts them.
Hey.
You got to read it. You won't believe – because Woody – remember Woody when he was on ESPN?
Yeah.
Couldn't play their game.
Mm-mm.
I guarantee you they must have went to Woody and said, okay, here's what we want you to do today. We want you to call for the firing of Jason Garrett. He says, yeah, but I don't really believe in that right now. They're 4-1. Why would I want to? Well, I know, Woody, but we really need. That's why he's not there anymore.
I agree.
It's not him. So for Darren Woodson tells CowboysSI.com tomorrow morning that watching this Cowboys defense play is like watching flag football. He goes, they tackle like it's flag football. You got
we got to get Woody back on, yo.
Even with this defense and looking at everything. What do we do with Cheeto? What do we do with Jordan Lewis? What do we do with Xavier Woods? Those guys got expiring contracts. I know Cheeto would like to play and finish out strong. He's going to be released from the COVID list or what have you. But what to do with those guys? Do you bring in new stuff, new players to learn new systems, and we back in the same situation? It's like a conundrum.
Oh, you got to bring in. Go ahead, Fish. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't want to steal your thunder here.
Like, it's hard because when you get to know the guys, like I saw somebody on Twitter go, because Jordan Lewis made a play against Cincinnati, right? You got to bring Jordan Lewis back. I like Jordan Lewis. You don't got to bring anybody back because he made one play versus Cincinnati. Jordan Lewis has not been a difference maker, and that's the truth, and he knows that. Cheeto hasn't been a difference maker. Anthony Brown, I admire Anthony Brown. Not everybody knows it. I did this story exclusive on my YouTube channel at the Fish Sports. Anthony Brown doesn't just have a rib injury. He's got 2 groups of rib injuries. He injured all his ribs earlier in the year, rehabbed from it, came back, and then injured him again. That sucks. And he's trying hard to play. So this isn't about want to for most guys, but it is about performance. Would you, Anthony Brown's under contract. Who's going to pay Cheeto?
Nobody.
If Cheeto comes back, it'll be because teams don't pay him. If Jordan Lewis comes back, it'll be because somebody else doesn't pay him. You can't go through their performance this year and say
no,
everything's great. This is the worst secondary in football.
Facts.
You know what's interesting about that? I was looking at it today when I was looking up some stats. This is so weird. This defense is weird this year. 6 times this year, they've given up more rushing yards than passing yards against them. 6 times in a passing league. You know, and when you go look at it, the big culprit, the big problem with the secondary this year is big plays, right? Big culprit, big problem, big plays, because they are ranked 6th in the league in pass yards allowed, and that's not necessarily a great thing, folks. It's most likely because anybody can run on us right now, so they're electing to just run the ball. Why would I pass it? There's times in the game, Fish, we're like, why is Baltimore throwing the ball? Why is Washington throwing the ball?
Baltimore in that game averaged 8 yards a carry.
Nuts. That's like pass. That's better than passing.
It is.
Yeah.
That's like Eric Dickerson in high school. Boy, did you see Eric Dickerson's numbers in high school? He was averaging 8 yards a carry. Yeah, because he was playing, Little Sisters of the Poor. This is pro football. You can't average 8 yards a carry. It's impossible. What was really troubling, and this happened in the Washington game and the Baltimore game, is not only were guys getting 29 yards on a carry, but nobody was touching him.
Yeah.
That's where when, like, early in the season, we said to McCarthy, we brought up the effort issue with McCarthy, and he's like, tisk, tisk. Be careful criticizing a player's effort. And you guys know this, Law, you know this about me. I am careful about that. If you play pro football, like, people go, he's a wussy. No, he's not. If you play high school football in Texas, you're probably a pretty tough kid. I don't say that about. I never say that about.
That's like semi-pro right there.
I don't like that. But Xavier Woods said you can't go 100% on 70 plays, and Tank Lawrence said we lack heart. We're lacking effort. That was after the Bengals, Browns. So we said it to McCarthy on the press conference. He said, "Don't ever do that." I'm like, Coach, I'm not doing it. Your own players are doing it. And it took McCarthy 2 more months
finally
that there's an effort issue, even though 30 million Cowboy fans already knew it. That's a damn shame.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, Fish. I ain't gonna lie. It's frustrating me because it's almost like when I watched this defense against Cincinnati, it's not like we stopped them. They were jumping around like we stopped them. They had outgained us, had more first downs. The only way we really won was the turnover battle because they were moving the ball pretty much how they wanted to with a Brandon Allen back there. I think the troubling part to me is the reason why the Dallas Cowboys the way they are is because I see on social media guys jumping up and down and great effort and this and that and slapping high fives. But it was the Bengals. That team was no good, and you didn't dominate them. The score, if you were to look at the score from afar, you would say the team Cowboys dominated them. But if you watch the game, you would say they didn't dominate them. And I think that's where I feel like there's a problem, in my opinion, because I see Cowboys acting like they did something. But in reality, you really didn't do nothing against these Bengals, and I feel like that's a maddening trend. So that's where I go, who do you think are really the leaders here on defense? Because that's where it's lacking. They said they brought Tyrone Crawford back. He making this money. Oh, we love his leadership, but where his leadership been?
It's Jalen Smith, baby.
I mean, what's going on with this leadership on this defense, particularly on this defense? Who are these leaders, and why maybe are people underperforming? Because maybe they're looking at these leaders and say, you ain't really performing, so why should I really follow?
Man, leadership's a tricky thing to me. When the Cowboys went 12-4, boy, look at the leadership of Witten and Lee and Romo.
I didn't say that.
I know. The same exact guys went 4-12 the next year. So I don't know. Did the leadership all of a sudden Jason Witten wasn't a leader anymore? So I don't know. I think that leadership thing, the same guys are trying as hard as they can, and then this isn't an excuse; it's just fact. And then the ball bounced sideways. I mean, it does. Ask the Falcons, because if not for the watermelon kick, the Cowboys' record would even be worse. If not for a ball bouncing this way or that way, the Cowboys' record would even be worse. I think the Cowboys' leadership thing is especially weird now because in a COVID time, the influence isn't the same. The time spent isn't the same. The ability to hang isn't the same. Tyrone, you want my red hot prediction?
Mm-hmm.
I think Tyrone Crawford this will be his last year. I think he'll retire.
Should.
I mean, who else picking him up, dog? Let's keep it real.
I think he'll retire. The hip and all that. But I'm telling you, when he couldn't travel last year because of the hip, he was missed. Defensive players missed their big brother. And so there is a chemistry thing that helps the team go. Dak Prescott not being available really is the singular reason for all of this. And we can argue all day long about Dak Prescott. Is he worth $40 million? I said this to Sean Sharif the other day. He goes, he might have said, he's not worth 40. I go, what's he worth? 35, he said. I said, give him the other 5 for leadership. Adds up to 40. Dak Prescott's presence is different, makes you different, makes you feel different. And that's why he's worth the money. I don't know about whether another team should pay him or a Dak Prescott clone is worth this or a different time or a different place. But Dak Prescott at this time is so pivotal to this locker room that he is the reason that they're 4-9. His injury is the reason, singularly.
Man, that's a great, and we'll segue right into that in a quick second. But I think defensively, more important than leadership at the moment is they just need good players throughout every level, because it starts there. You can have the greatest leaders in the world. Sean Lee, hell, a lot of us want him to be a coach next year, assistant coach. That means you got to be some kind of a leader, right? But we need good players. You can be a hell of a leader, but if you're not a good player at all three levels, we're going to have what we have on defense. And these injuries don't help either. And like you said, the scheme switch of drastic change with no offseason doesn't help. But, it's kind of a great segue. I hate to derail it with the Dak Prescott thing. Here's what I want to know. I know James wants to know in the law. What's up with the agent and front office relationship, man? Because that's what worries me the most. I have all the belief in the world that Dak wants to be in Dallas. But, again, it seems like he's letting the agent do his thing, and my goodness.
I think the agent was searching for his own deal. He was leaving one agency, CAA, and looking to go to another. And I think I assume Dak Prescott was in on it. And hey, let's work together and let's get us both a deal. I'll get my deal and you'll get your deal. And then it didn't work out. I hope Dak was in on it, because there was nothing wrong with the Cowboys offer. There was nothing insulting. I reported there was 5 years, $35 million a year, $110 million guaranteed. There's nothing, you don't have to sign it, but you're not insulted by that. And I think Todd France is the one that drove Dak to say, let's not do that. We can do something else. And I think Todd France might have had Todd France's own interests, not singularly at heart, not solely at heart, but involved. And that's too bad. Now we'll try it again. And this time it'll be 40. And I hope it gets done, because it is a dark cloud that hangs over an organization. I go back to Kirk Cousins and Washington. They destroyed themselves by not deciding. Well, we'll tag him. Well, we'll think about it later. Well, we'll do it another time. Well, we don't know. If you say you don't know about your franchise quarterback, guess what do you think the other 52 guys think? And so they cannibalize themselves in Washington. And I hope the Cowboys don't do that to themselves.
Well, see, also, even in that Washington thing, though, the general manager came out even later on saying he didn't believe in Kirk Cousins. And that's the reason he didn't believe in him. And that's why he said he wasn't going to sign him to a long-term deal, because he didn't believe in him. And if the general manager's coming out feeling that way, like you said, the other players like, well, you ain't feeling that way. You just a lame duck quarterback. And that's why he had to get out of there.
By the way, look at Washington now. Ron Rivera, because they got a decision to make. A little bit gimpy Alex Smith versus Dwayne Haskins. You watch Ron Rivera. He'll make a decision.
You're going with Alex Smith. Watch.
It'll be firm. and he'll just and guys will go, and 52 guys will go with it, because Ron Rivera is firm. Hey, Washington's a scary franchise for the Cowboys. Outside of the owner is given power to Ron Rivera, and he's a rock. Ron Rivera is even going to help choose the general manager, which is weird, but Ron Rivera is a rock, and the owner's gotten out of the way. And I think Washington is a franchise that's trying to do things the right way. I don't know why they don't have a nickname, but otherwise, they've won 4 straight games. They beat your ass twice. They really put the Cowboys in a pinch. If it wasn't for those 2 games, Cowboys really would be in the mix. But because of those 2 games, they're kind of not.
How much you like the other guy who played for the Cowboys, Jack Del Rio? How much you like him?
I love Jack Del Rio.
And I'm in DC.
I don't know that, I guess he went public with his politics, which might not be the same as the 4 of our politics.
Mm-hmm.
And it might not be the same as everybody in the locker room's politics, but he's so solid that I would assume that players go, you know what? That's fine. You get to think that, I get to think this. We can still work together. I do that every day. You guys probably do too. I don't know, man. I'm so old. In my day, we didn't have public conversations about sexuality, religion, or politics. And it was a better day, I tell you, 14-year-olds.
Hey, Fish, I want to say one last thing just on my end. I was listening to what you just said about the Washington football team. There's some things that were some key phrases that you said to me. You said, or to us, you said, guess what? Washington, you better watch out for them. They're going to be a problem for Dallas. You said the owner is moving out the way and allowing the coach to do his thing, and they are being good. Now, it's kind of weird. You said that he's allowing him to choose the general manager, but these guys are doing good. Within 1 year of getting a whole new coach, they are doing good. Why? Because I heard you say the owner is moving out the way and allowing the coach to have the power. Do we have that in Dallas? And I feel like that's one of the reasons why these Cowboys keep going into circles, because of the control factor with maybe Jerry, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's just coming from me.
The reason you get to be right is because the one constant over the course of 25 years is one guy. And it doesn't matter how much I like him, or it doesn't even matter how much somebody else doesn't like him. That's undeniable. And Jerry being in the big chair is never going to change until, as Stephen likes to tell me, they put a tag on his toe, which I guess is funeral home talk. Is that how they do it?
I believe so.
Yeah. And I respect that. My defense of Jerry there is, okay, I own a bar, the Maverick Bar.
I was going to say something to you about that before the show. I was down there. I wanted to come, but, COVID.
Okay, it's awesome.
Good for
And
you.
and had my name not been Fish, we would have called it Fish Sports Bar. Except I was afraid that people would think, "Oh, I'd love the salmon, please," because right? So we went with the Maverick Bar. But like Jerry's name is on the marquee here, and that's ego, but it's also like responsibility. It puts the heat on him too. For better or for worse, this is still Jerry's baby. I try to tell people he's got the biggest ears, and people don't know. He listens. So like Will McClay has enormous power here. So Will McClay is kind of like the general manager, but he's still. I think that it's not Jerry, the person, that gets in the way. I think it's the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys branding gets in the way. I think there's such a strong focus on marketing, branding, sales, America's team, that the next thing you know, the players go, hey, branding, that's not a bad idea.
Swipe me, eat the food, Beasley rapping. Like, yeah, Beasley said it. Beasley said, when I went to Buffalo, this was all about football and not brand. And we knew this, but the fact that a player said it, and then we continue to see the brand thing happen. And no offense to Jalen, but when Jalen gets signed, the first words out of his mouth were, I'm happy to be in business with Jerry Jones. Whoa.
In business, yeah.
And I do think that nails it. By the way, I love Jalen.
Oh yeah.
He's a great human being.
I don't know what's going on in the field with the ups and downs. But if I wanted a business partner, it'd be Jalen. If I was going to open a church, I'd make him the deacon. I think the world of him. But I do think that the Cowboys brand, and I coined the phrase #53 brands, that you, if you're learning from Jerry, if you're a Cowboy player and you're 25 years old and you're learning from Jerry, you learn two things. Well, you learn football and you learn business. And we would, as fans, prefer, why don't you do your business after you retire? Now, they have a right to tell us to screw off, but that's what a fan would want. Why don't you just do this one thing now And then you can open up your insurance agency after you retire.
Darren Woodson. Perfect example.
Yeah. Real estate and everything. Man, that's some good stuff right there from Fish. Far as the draft going into the future, are you more of the team tanking, or I know you coined the phrase organically tanking?
We did.
Where's your position on that?
Here's a T-shirt.
Exclusive.
Organic tanking would sell.
That's
Right.
your word, man.
Right now.
And the A in organic and the A in tanking is a Cowboy star.
Ain't lying. It's just naturally tank, but I don't think there needs to be a tank or whatever now. We're 3 games left on the season. I think whatever's going to happen is going to happen right now. Earlier in the year where we were 2-7, that seemed like a more legitimate question. But we got 3 games left. Do we really think, Fish, the Cowboys are going to win this division?
Okay, here's organic tanking. That it just happens. So Savion Smith somehow is playing cornerback. Unfortunately, he played okay. It wasn't supposed to go that way. But I would push it. I think the beauty of where they are is no matter what they do, they're either going to win the division, which they're not, or still have a top 6 pick. Even if they win another game, aren't they still going to have a top 6 pick? So there's no downside in letting them do whatever they want. But I believe, and I've told this story before, I'll tell you guys, the year they went 4-12, I'm in Buffalo with them. And that's the game that Kellen Moore started at quarterback for no good reason. And who was the wide receiver that called himself the bag?
Bryce Butler.
Bryce Butler. Duffel bag.
Bryce Butler was the featured receiver for no good reason. Well, they were organically tanking. They were trying to lose that game. The Cowboys were. They recognized where they were going. Good for them. So I'm walking up the tunnel with who was the defensive lineman who led him in sacks that year?
Was that 2017?
Mincy? No.
Mincy.
Mincy. Okay.
I go, Mincy. I go, are you hurt? Because he didn't play. And he goes, no. I go, why didn't you play? And he goes, Fish, taking one for the team. They sat Jeremy Mincy, their best defensive lineman, so they would lose.
Wait.
And so the organization, no matter what Jerry says, they understand how to do this. And if we get to the Giants game, week 17, and they're out of it, only if they're out of it, not if they're still in it, but if they're mathematically eliminated. And I've said the whole month should be this. I think this should be preseason in December. But by all means, Ben DiNucci should start at quarterback. Tony Pollard should play the entire game.
Oh, week 17, yeah.
Week 17. Reggie Robinson should play every snap at safety.
Bradley and 9 needs to play every snap.
Brandon and I should play every snap instead of 0. And on and on and on. Noah Brown should play every snap. Why are we waiting for August to see if those guys can play? We can get started on the process now. Preseason in December, or in this case, I guess it would be January 2nd or whatever it is. Preseason now, as soon as you're mathematically eliminated.
Unless Ezekiel Elliott needs 30 or 40 yards to get 1,000 yards for the season.
Get that check, yeah.
That's an issue. I'll give you a good example. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Aldon Smith, and we broke this story on CowboysSI.com. Remember when everybody was saying he signed a $6 million contract or whatever? No, it's a $1 million contract. And then every time he gets 4 more sacks, he gets another $500,000. So, yeah, if he's 1 sack away from another $500,000, Aldon Smith's going to say, you're going to do what to me?
Right.
And if the Cowboys want to re-sign him, which they do, they probably better not do that to him. And a lot of guys have that in their contracts. So that's a concern. But by and large, you need to throw that game. Throw it. Tank it. The difference between finishing 3rd and 4th, how much would it cost you to trade up from the 3rd spot to the 4th spot?
But weren't we in this situation?
Hold on. It would cost you a 2nd-round pick. Right?
Yeah, we saw that with 49ers in Chicago.
Okay, by losing week 17, I'm giving you a 2nd-round pick for free. Take it. That's what I'll say that I will say that to Jerry and Steven.
This happened. What year was it? Was it 2017? We won in Philly when Philly was like 13-2, and we beat them 6-0. It cost us like 4 spots in the draft. Yeah, for no reason. We weren't going to the playoffs.
What's your insight on the Seattle Seahawks? What did they really offer Aldon? Do you know it?
I don't know. I know that he had his connection with Jim Tomsula, and his agent is here. And so I think they felt like there was a support group built here. Now, Aldon went on DallasCowboys.com/1053 The Fan last night and went a little haywire. And he said, we suck. He said, we suck right now.
Yeah.
He said, but we can be better. I believe in our guys. These are my brothers, all that stuff. And then he said the word B-blank-S like 1,000 times. And so maybe he was all fired up. But he wanted to be here. I don't know that that lasts till next year. If I'm Aldon Smith, I'm not giving, hometown discount. This isn't my hometown. But I think Aldon Smith is one of the great stories. He should finish second in the comeback player of the year behind, obviously, the Washington quarterback.
That was a great point. I know a lot of us in Cowboys Nation are still leery about a long-term contract to Aldon, but good story. I don't know if he'll be in Dallas next year, though. Truly, in my opinion.
My prediction is he would not be.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
So either.
I'd agree with you. And why would he want to come back? This is what I look at.
Why would he not use this as a springboard?
Right. And get more money.
You got one chance to get paid.
Because you ain't getting paid here.
And this team isn't paying him.
No, you ain't getting paid here. So go on and get your money. This is like you said, this is an audition for you.
Right.
Indeed, man. All right, Fish, listen. We 20 minutes? We don't want about 60. What? What'd you say?
Gosh almighty.
Yeah.
3 times the salary you were scheduled to pay me.
We'll try to. Hopefully, we got a nice round number for you, so we can go ahead and chop this up, man, and get it out.
I don't need to even say this because I know you guys handle this, but you guys really do. It's a brilliant job. You're all very. This show has a cool factor. Like my show on the Fish Sport, it's just a dork factor. It's just a bunch of dorks. It's a dork club. But you guys, this is very smooth and cool.
Well, they call me Chill Will, so I'm just.
My show is like Miller. My show is Miller Lite. Your show is Cavassier.
Hey. or Dos Sagis, the most interesting man in the world. He the smoothest dude ever.
Smooth.
Yeah, baby. Pastor Cavassier. That's what Buster said.
Man, I wish we could play that kind of music on here, but they'll get us. They'll get us.
Right.
Parting shots, Law Nation and James to Fish here.
Well, Fish, man, I really appreciate you for jumping on the platform and showcasing your talent to everybody that's over here. I know everybody knows you already. And like if people don't know, you the first information. I listen to you, and then I go over here and I spit it out to everybody. So appreciate you for jumping on the show.
Well, as I point out on my deal, because I don't like the Steelers. I don't mean Pittsburgh, but I do like what Law does, because Law will say, "Here's my opinion of what Fish just reported," whereas some of these guys are just going, "Hey, I hear that." Well, you didn't hear shit. I mean, you heard it from me. So I like the way, and Mark Holmes does the same thing, and you guys have been a big help to me. I mean, I wouldn't. My crappy little show would be way more crappy without. I appreciate you.
It ain't crappy, man. But guess what? We could definitely help out. You already know where to find us, man. We'll have to make this Fish thing something next year, man. Hopefully,
I'd love to do it. And of course, over on our thing, we're giving away. I think we hit 15,000 people.
Wow.
And so we're giving away. Yeah. So I guess tomorrow we'll give away the Boys Are Back book. And then we'll hit 17,000 probably in a couple of days. And we're giving away the Ezekiel Elliott bowling shoes.
Hey.
And then shortly after that, I'm giving away Des Bryant's 88 hoodie.
Man, you'll be at 20,000 by the end of this year.
Well, send them over. We're all friends here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, listen.
Tell them to send them over us too.
Hey, this year, well, next year when we go down to Oxnard, I already know, Fish. I know you're gonna set it out for us, right?
Yeah, we'll do it every night in Oxnard.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Fish, are you Mike Fisher? I mean, I follow you on YouTube, but I can't tell if it's Fish Sports or Mike Fisher without clicking on it right now. On YouTube.
If you go to, I don't know, Law, what am I? I'm Fish Sports.
Let me go check for you, man, because I know you Fish Sports on Twitter. Let me see if you're Fish Sports.
There's another Mike Fisher out there, I believe.
That son of a bitch.
Oh, okay.
I know you get all of his stuff. I said, dog, I clicked on him.
Listen, he's Mike Fisher on Twitter, on YouTube. So Mike Fisher, it's easy, simple, nothing to confuse about there. Mike.
Yeah, but
Fisher.
watch out for that. What about that hockey?
About hockey?
You guys are black. You don't even know what I'm talking about.
Nope. You damn right. I don't know nothing about no hockey.
We don't know that.
Nope. For the Nashville Predators, who's married to Carrie Underwood, who you also heard of.
Okay, now listen, Fish.
Oh, that Fish.
I googled to find some pictures to throw up on here, right? And some dude next to Carrie Underwood kept popping up. I'm like, who the hell is this? Did he do an interview with Carrie Underwood? Found out he's Mike Fisher.
Yeah. Every once in a while, somebody will tweet me and Carrie Underwood, and we'll tweet back and forth because she looks like my wife, except not as hot.
That's what I'm talking about.
You sure? Hey, Fish, you sure ain't no Miller Lite up in there? You sure?
No, I'm straight Cavassier.
I was about to say, I think that's Cavassier in there. Ain't no Miller Lite. There's a Cavassier. When I seen him kicking that leg up with that hand on the kneecap, I said, "Oh yeah, he feeling good."
Hey, I'm sorry, Fish. I'm sorry, but I think I might have found some breaking news here.
What?
I don't know how serious this is. Give me a second here. I'm trying to find it real quick. Somebody reported Mike Nolan not coming back. Is this true?
Mike Nolan?
Wait a minute. Let me look. I'm sorry. I hate to derail it, but we got Fish on here, so that means Fish can go ahead and start pressing buttons.
Exclusive.
He got the text. Look, he looking at that phone already.
I know. Let me go look.
He can't get fired on his day off now. Come on.
If we mean Mike Nolan's not expected to return, then we already knew that, and I mean no disrespect to the newspaper.
Oh my gosh!
Right.
We already know he's not expected to return.
Right.
That's what
Don't
it is.
we?
Yes. When he came out in his interview and he said, "Hey, I ain't worried about this." So what do you think about your job? I don't worry about that. I just coach. That's when you know you're fired.
Yeah, it's Gelkin. Gelkin saying expected. So yeah,
Gelkin.
That's the word.
Yeah.
That's the word we're using here.
We all know you're gone.
He's not expected to return. So I know, Fish, you're gonna probably get on that, man. So
Gelkin, well, but I don't because we already know that. Gelkin, who's great. He's my guy.
He's fired, man. Yeah.
Mike Nolan's not going to be back. He writes, Nolan's not expected to be back.
Expected, yeah.
Right.
So, with all due respect to the morning news, we already know that. We're all. You guys have probably all done shows on who the next defensive coordinator could be. Am I right?
We've been talking about it.
Wade Phillips.
We've been talking about it.
We've been talking about it.
No, it's
Phillips?
not no damn Wade Phillips, dog. That's going backwards.
Well,
You wouldn't like Wade Phillips' big game.
It's not that I don't like him. He been
Hold on,
here.
we'll save it for when
No.
Fish get off. We'll save it for when Fish.
Oh, okay, we'll say when Fish get out. Pardon the words for Fish, big game, James.
Hey, all I
has
can
something
say
to
is
say.
I appreciate. Oh, go ahead.
What I've learned, and don't think I won't do this, is I'm going to go over to my YouTube now and go, not exclusive, breaking.
Right.
Mike Nolan won't be back. But I won't really do that except because we already know that.
Right.
We already know he'll be back. As you guys have said, his comments indicate that he knows he won't be back. When Jerry and Steven came on the radio and said Mike McCarthy will be back, right?
He mentioned Nolan.
They didn't say it about the other. There's a reason they didn't say it about the other. So, Mike McCarthy's on the hot seat. He'll get 3 more games. I mean, what if? But no. The change that we made there. And then regarding your lists that we all are making, you can't, the Joneses should not pick the defensive coordinator. So if Mike McCarthy is not meshed with Wade Phillips, then they should not hire Wade Phillips. That'd be dumb. So it's got to be somebody. There's got to be a match. And I would like to think that Mike McCarthy, after 25 years in the game, would have a long list. Somebody mentions Dan Quinn. If Mike McCarthy has a relationship with Dan Quinn, then let's go. Then that's a conversation.
Seems like he prefers a 3-4.
Does Mike McCarthy have a relationship with Patricia? I don't know, but
please no.
I don't know, but you got to go. But this is the list that you have to go check.
Yeah. Normally they like to promote from within, though. To be honest.
And whoever brought up the George Edwards idea,
the
George Edwards idea is sound. Mike McCarthy can go to the Joneses and say, "I got him right here," and the Joneses should sit down and talk to him along with the head coach, and maybe that's your easy answer. Easy answer.
I'm gonna be interested to see how many 4-3 coaches Mike McCarthy had at DC, because I know he's a big proponent of 3-4, so that may be a hint on who we might get next.
Yeah, I'll never get over. I still can't get over sitting at the Star with McCarthy, and I'm the one that asked him, "What's your defensive alignment?" And he goes, "We're going to be a 4 down lineman team."
Yeah, he did say that.
And I wrote the heck out of it, and then
we're 3-4.
Didn't happen. Yeah. He also said we're going to fit our scheme to our talent.
Right.
And that didn't happen. People are misunderstanding what I'm saying about hiring a defensive coordinator. You got coworkers have to co-work. There's got to be. I'm not talking about yes men. I'm talking about coordination. You don't hire somebody that you don't know. You guys ever been? Well, you're a big executive in the executive world. I don't know what the hell you do for real life. Probably this. You make so much money at this. But if you were going to interview an assistant, wouldn't you want to mesh with him?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, if we all get on Jerry Jones for, controlling the team, the best way to relinquish that control is to let your coaches hire those guys. He made, I don't want to call it a mistake because we had slight success with Jason, but I thought he made a mistake in hiring Garrett first before hiring Wade Phillips. But we know what that was about, Fish. But nonetheless, you shouldn't do that again.
Exactly right. You're right. And then some people think that Jason Garrett backstabbed Wade Phillips, and I don't know that he did. I just know that they didn't have loyalty to each other, and so loyalty in the building is a good idea. And so McCarthy has earned the right, certainly, to have a voice, but he's lost the right to do it unilaterally. I think he hired Mike Nolan unilaterally, and that's gone. He had so much authority to do what he wanted. He didn't even interview Colombo or Sanjay Lal. Didn't even interview him. That's a mistake.
He brought in his guy. It's crazy because I got on JG about his guys, but he brought in his guys. Mike Nolan's his guy. Joe Philbin is his guy, coached under him. The defensive line coach is escaping my memory right now. What's his name, guys? Tom Sula was one of his guys. They have that tree, that connection, and it was so obvious. Linebacker coach was in the Packers with him. His guy. Now I understand hiring people you're familiar with, but like you said, Fish, you ain't even interview nobody else.
Right. So ultimately, you got to hire somebody that you have some level of comfort with. Mm-hmm. I would say, my mom passed away, as you guys know, in February. If I could, the person that would run my bar would be my mom. Well, people say, why? Because I know she wouldn't be slipping $20 bills out of the cash register. That's why. Mm-hmm. And so same thing with hiring my staff. I want to hire. I got to hire guys that I mesh with. We mentioned Ron Rivera. I don't think Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio came up as two peas in a pod. I think they kind of threw themselves together. So not yes men, not best friends, but meshing. And Mike McCarthy deserves that, but not unilaterally. Not to the point where he doesn't even have to interview the people that are 10 feet away to talk to him.
Facts, man.
Yeah.
we will be definitely covering it just as much as you will be on this DC search, man. For real, there's going to be a lot of names that pop up, and we'll try to come to a conclusion amongst us fans here who we want, and then we'll see what JJ does. Well, I shouldn't say that. We shall see what Mike McCarthy does. McCarthy. But listen, Fish, we appreciate you coming on here. This was awesome. We could talk all night. I told you we can go. Now we got on Jesse about 3. You know, we say he always 3 hours, but that's because we can go. So we going.
I make fun of Jesse, but I'm about ready to break his record.
Yeah, and listen, if we could. It could easily break his record. But we're going to be respectful to your time, dog. We're going to be respectful to your time.
Yeah.
All right?
Man, thank you. You guys are really good at what you do. I appreciate the forum, and we'll do it over in my house as well.
I'm ready for it, dog. I'm ready.
Ready for it.
Appreciate you, Fish. We'll get at you after the show. I know Law most likely will reach out with all this, all right?
All right, man. Thank you.
No problem, guys. Hey, stick around right now. We are going to move into the second half of this show where we will be just us 3 here and kicking it with you guys in the chat. Trust me, we've seen your comments and Fish saw your comments, so we know, so he know. I always think that's funny now with the new way we do it. They can see your comments.
I like it.
So you can't say nothing.
I love it. He jumped in there real quick. He said,
"Hold on, wait a minute."
He said, "Hold on for blah blah blah." Said this.
He said,
I ain't scared of you, mother.
He said, "Hold up, I see a lot of people in the comments. Not y'all, but
Right.
these people in the comments."
Man, I could rap the Fish. We could talk Fish all night.
Yes, indeed. Fish is a good guy. He's still waiting around in the waiting room.
Oh my goodness, man! Listen, I want to have a drink with him and just rap like off the record. Like I don't want to report nothing. I just want to hear the story. When you around Dallas for 30 years, around JJ, you know what I mean? Jerry Jones. Can you imagine the stories?
He said, "Ain't nobody talks to Jerry Jones more than me."
Oh, it's facts.
Fish can actually have Fish history lesson. You know,
Yeah.
like he just goes down and goes by the list of telling everybody, hey, this is what happened here and this is what's happened there. And people can be really educated on what the truth is instead of trying to fabricate their opinions, right?
He dropped some nuggets that's not being reported. And he's not doing like, breaking news or anything. It's just that, hey, I'm here. Like I'm plugged, y'all. I'm not trying to say, you know, I'm breaking news or what have you, but I know what's happening around here, and he don't need to. Granted, we know everybody likes to, you know, be out there, but he don't need to be saying, "Hey, I said this is what's happening." He already knew, just like he said, "Hey, I'm not about to go here and cover this expected to be gone thing because we knew it. We already said this."
Yeah.
So, you know, that's Fish for you, man. Great
Yes,
stuff.
indeed.
They enjoyed him too in the chat. It's funny because, you know, people like Fish that are very brash in their delivery, a lot of people can take it the wrong way, and they were in the chat. But if you actually were listening to what he was saying, not everyone, some people was saying, he wasn't defending anyone. He was just giving their perspective, which we don't often do on this channel. I shouldn't say this channel, but we don't often do because we're speaking of it from a fan's perspective, trying to be objective, yes. But Fish is actually there, so he can tell you, hey, this is what they're thinking.
Right. And then what I like about it is that it's objectivity too, especially like what he said with the Stephen Jones situation. When he threw that out there, I was like, well, damn, he's right on the money with
We
that.
never thought of
I
it
can't
that
go
way.
toe-to-toe with Stephen Jones. He's right with that, right?
Yeah.
As it relates to experience and beyond.
I never even thought of it that way because
I never thought of it that way too.
and that's what I wanted to point out to him was like, hey, he kind of opened my mind to that line of thinking. So now when we talk about this in the future, I can give that side of it. Like, okay, yeah, maybe we do feel as though we may be better football people, right? But technically, they've been doing that football stuff for 20 years. Nonetheless, in a different capacity, we have our opinions about it. But I mean, they've been in the trenches. It's a good point. I never even thought of it that way. It kind of blew my mind a little bit. That's why I was kind of laughing. Like, damn, I didn't even think of it like that. Hey guys, before we get to the comment section of the show and what have you, I'm going to drop the link from the Darian Thompson interview in here. All right, so you guys can go check that out later. It was pretty cool, man. He's a real chill dude. We actually talk about Nolan and McCarthy in that Jones. So I'm gonna drop that right quick in here, and there it goes. All right, check that out, y'all. All right, man. Here we are, part 2 of this show. I'm still fired up. Fish got me fired up. I could have kept talking to him.
Oh yeah.
Could have kept going. What you looking for, big game, James? Let's see over there.
Yeah, what's your thought?
No.
Big game?
Somebody else said something.
No, I'm cool.
If you see James like,
yeah,
talk shit.
No, I'm cool. I had a good time with Fish. You know what I'm saying? I asked my questions I wanted to ask. I felt like he answered them as true and real as he could. You know what I'm saying? I like how he was like, I ain't trying to tell you I'm a homer. I ain't trying to show him a homer. I'm just showing you my perspective. And I appreciated that, you know, what from him. I don't agree with him on certain things, but that's okay. I still respect his work as far as what he does and brings the news, because he was one of the first people when I got really into, besides law, as far as the news, Cowboys news, when I got on Twitter, because I really didn't know anything about Twitter. He was like my main follow. Like, he had all the news that I needed. So I just appreciate, you know what I'm saying, him coming and interacting with everybody and bringing the real. Like you said, he had some nuggets for us, especially when he was talking about that tanking thing, when he was talking about Mincy sitting out and Bryce Butler playing, and he said that tanking stuff is real. I like them real perspectives, because not everybody knows that.
Yeah, like the players won't, but the coaches is telling you to sit. What are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Somebody in the chat. We're just going through the chat here. Where'd it go? Said something about, should we bring back Chris Richard? There it is, right there. Derek. He said, what do y'all think about bringing back Chris Richard coming back as defensive coordinator? Probably not going to happen.
Look
Again,
at James here like shaking his head.
well, here's the thing. It's not
nothing to do with him being bad. It's just
right.
you was here and you gone.
Well, I'm gonna add on to it, James. I actually did go and look at the history of Mike McCarthy. He is literally a 3-4 guy, guys. Don Capers, one of the greatest DCs during his time. He was amazing. Was his DC to start. Then he moved to Mike Pettin, who's a 3-4 guy, and then he brought in Mike Nolan, who's a 3-4 guy. So follow the breadcrumbs. Guess who's probably coming in here? A 3-4 guy. So and that's why I was saying before, if we're going to bring in a 3-4 guy, you got to start, in my opinion, looking at successful 3-4 defenses, not just this year, but historically, or some consistency. And I keep bringing up the name. I believe it's Terrell Austin in Pittsburgh. I would love to go look at that guy, or go pluck somebody maybe from the Ravens team. I want to say Miami is also 3-4. I like how they built their defense. They got those two corners just locking you down. They drafted another corner in the first round. I'm telling you, Brian Flores and the other cat in Tennessee, the only ones to really implement what Bill Belichick has done in New England, in the sense of, he doesn't build the defense from the front back. He builds it from the back to the front, because this new age, you have to have guys that can cover, and you have to have guys that you can skew the numbers with. And Brian Flores, man, he's doing a hell of a job. He won't win Coach of the Year, but damn it, he should be up there.
Yeah, he got the Miami Dolphins balling. They got a new attitude, and they made that turnaround with real quick. And I guess that comes back to Dallas. What I was telling Fish, that's frustrating. Just like when he mentioned, Washington. I think that's one of the reasons still Sky and Law, when he said, hey, I didn't think Washington was going to do this. With all the controversy and the turmoil, we know how Daniel Snyder is. But you know what? Snyder backed the hell up. He said, look, you do this, you run this, you make this happen. And guess what? Washington's playing good because those guys backed the hell up. And I feel like that's one of the reoccurring problems. When we talk about players, we talk about draft picks. That is great. And we can get players. But I feel like that's the fundamental element, because when I see other teams make these quick turnarounds, it doesn't take them 3, 4, 5 years. Them turnarounds are quick. And then they have a stability with it. And I think that's just what the fundamental thing that keeps coming wrong with that.
I'll add on to your turnaround quickness. Even if you're not good, like the Dolphins were not good. They finished in the top 5 last year in the pick. But you felt the culture change. And a lot of people were speaking in the NFL, and certain fans that are close to the Dolphins were saying, hey, we could talk about how they're not good, but if you watch and if you pay attention, if you read between the lines, Brian Flores is changing things over there. And what happens the next year? they're 8-4 or 9-4 or whatever it is right now, and they're likely going to go to the playoffs, guys. So even in a bad year, you can feel a sense of change or a sense of some positive momentum. And I talk about that a lot. You'll hear that as a key phrase, positive momentum. It is important for the Cowboys to finish this season with positive momentum, unless I will agree with Fish on this one. Week 17, you're out of it. Hey, let's play these young guys and see if they can get positive momentum, but let's go ahead and keep that draft slot. Nonetheless, if they happen,
DiNucci and all those guys,
right? But if they happen to win these next 3 games and you find out about some of these guys, in my opinion, that's good. You find out about some of these guys, you just do. If we continue to say we lose 7 in a row, bam, there ain't nothing there's nothing you can go in the offseason and say, you know what, these guys are good. You lost 7 in a row and you got embarrassed.
Yeah. And I want people to understand this too, and I've been saying it live on my show a lot about like the draft selections, what have you. Tristan Hill was drafted before DK Metcalf, right? I mean, come on. And I'm going to say this again. Also, Darian Thompson was drafted before Justin Simmons, right? So it's all about what team you go to, and it's also all about the system that you go to. Just because you pick in early in the draft doesn't mean that you're going to hit. I think the Cowboys been doing relative decent with their drafting selection. So let's not be like, oh, we picking at this pick and we're not going to have the good guys, right? Do you guys feel the same thing I'm feeling, or I'm off on this one?
No, I understand what you're saying. Nothing's guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's guaranteed. I get both sides. I get both sides. I get why people want to have a high pick in every round because you have the best chance of getting the best talent.
The best chance.
But at the end of the day, there's talent. There's talent in all rounds. It's up to your scouting department.
And here's the thing. Your scouting department this year has to be on fire because of COVID. Games have been canceled this year. Guys have opted out. You have top players that opted out from last year, so you don't get to get an evaluation of this year. You got all-star games that have been canceled, so your scouting department has to be ridiculous. That's why I was saying I really would want them to trade back and get multiple picks so you can get a plethora of players, because you really have to hit, because the way this COVID thing is, it's going to be hard to really evaluate these kids, man.
I'll add on to it. Bucky Brooks talked about this because, he was a former, scout and what have you. He was mentioning how it's going to be really challenging for the foot soldiers and the scouting department, because we got to remember a lot of these schools are shut down to everyone outside of the infrastructure of that team, like the coaches and the players is shut down. So those scouts that can go down to the school and watch practice, you're not doing it. Those scouts that can go down to the school and talk to, not a teacher, we call them a professor or a counselor or whomever, a tutor, to actually know about this player. Like, yeah, I see his tape on the field, but how is he off the field? They don't have that ability this year because of COVID. So it makes it a lot harder on the scouts. It really does. So it's going to be really vital to hit this year. And it could be more than just throwing darts. Just throwing darts and hoping to get in the middle. It could be harder than that. It could be like throwing darts with a blindfold on this year, because you just don't have that little bit extra inside information to say, we got player, we got the 6th ranked player and a 7th ranked player. What separates them? That little bit. This guy loves football. This guy, they said he was a partier. He don't really like football, but he's super talented. I'll go with the other guy, and 10 years later, you were right. Like, that's going to be hard to determine this year. Shout out to Bucky. Shout out to Bucky for that inside information.
Hey, and shout out to Stelios. I had to give him a shout out. Stelios 300 came with the $20 holler when we first opened. So, hey, ho.
Shout out to you.
This came with the $10 holler, because Stelios be making it rain like no
super
other.
Chat.
Make it rain. And he just came with the super charge.
Yeah, I got my super chat back, man. I used to have it on my other channel. I brought it back.
He got the D-money.
You remember that? Remember when I had it on my other John?
I
had to bring it back.
Super chat.
Hey, nonetheless, I hit a milestone today, fellas, man. 2,000 subscribers, man. Y'all know how it was going from that channel to this channel, so we hit that milestone, man.
Well, I got something for you, Sky.
We got we must got the same. We got the same audience.
Yeah,
that's all right. Hey, give me a couple weeks. I'll be in that audience too. You'll be like, but I'm gonna yell in the background like, yeah, mother sucker.
Listen, I would just record Big Game James drops.
Oh yeah,
Press the button. I don't give a hell. Press another button. I don't like. right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, I love these drops, man.
I do too, dog. I do too.
Yeah, it makes
See,
big
they
day
call
go
you
by
fascist.
fast.
I'm gonna call you Clay.
This is mine's right here when somebody say something stupid.
What the hell is even that?
I love that one. I
Yeah.
love that. What the
I
hell
like
is
that.
that?
I ain't scared of you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I ain't scared of you, mother.
That's my shit right there. I ain't scared of you, motherfucker.
Hey, do y'all want to do a hashtag late night hype?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
do
I like
the
that.
what,
I
speed
need to
round.
cut
I'll let
these
you
up
do
and
those
put it
speed
on the
round.
Instagram, man.
I'll
Yeah,
let you do those speed
quick
round.
fire, rapid fire.
Yeah, we can
Rapid
do
fire.
We
Rapid
could
fire.
do rapid fire hashtag late night hype. For those that don't know, I love when we do this because you get them all up in here. Y'all that don't know what the hashtag late night hype or hashtag LNH segment is, you do a hashtag LNH or late night hype, whatever, how long you want to type it out, and put your question, and we will try to get to all the questions there. Of course, super chats on any channel, we have to jump. That comes first. All super chats will go.
Yeah, when you hear that or the super chat,
Yeah, we might not get all y'all questions because they come through, but hashtag late night hype and the super chats, we obviously go straight to it. So y'all want to do it, man? Get these hashtag late night hypes on, and
Some questions.
with the
pop,
questions attached to them, and we will go ahead.
and we
Marvel
love
said-
those versus
Hey, wait,
battles,
I don't-
right? Remember Todd versus
KMT,
Todd?
My bad, man.
KMT came already. Says hashtag late night hype over under 200
I got you,
yards
Wayne.
for the 49ers.
Oh, we got one already?
Yep. Hashtag KMT over under 200 yards for the 49ers.
Over under 200 yards rushing,
Yeah, rushing.
and you know that's a Russian team too. Like that's what he like to do. That I'm gonna say over.
I'm gonna say over. I'm gonna say 201.
Okay, Price is right.
230.
201.
$1.
Right.
I'm like, you mother.
But I'm gonna give you a little bit of analysis behind it. Kyle Shanahan, while Nick Mullins is just trash. I hate to say it.
Right. Trash.
So I just told y'all the stat. We've given up more rushing yards than passing yards 6 times this year defensively. Why on earth would the San Francisco 49ers, who have a solid rushing attack in regards to their scheme, throw the ball? Over. Over. Jamal Sims, hashtag late night hype, blow up the secondary? Question mark?
It's organically going to blow
Already.
up, right?
That shit already blew. That shit been blew up. Dynamite on that joker.
Dynamite!
Yeah, it's like you said, it's organically going to blow. Xavier Woods, 1-year deal. Jordan Lewis, 1-year deal. Cheeto Beawuzie, 1-year deal. Those guys are gone. In my opinion,
but you know what? Here's my thing with it. Just like Fish was saying, because I was saying this about Cheeto, because they didn't have great years, and they're not going to have a high market. Dallas could say, well, here's our offer. They could look out there and be like, damn, ain't nobody offering it, so I'm going to come back to this. You get what I'm saying? So you could see them back because Dallas could say, well, here's the offer, take it or leave it. And if they ain't getting nothing out there because they didn't have great years, they may come back.
yeah, if it's cheap enough, possibly, because I don't think we're going to sign 3 free agent
for
corners.
Sure.
They'll probably draft 2, but are you going to throw?
I think they'll keep at least one.
They'll probably,
They'll keep one.
I hope not.
For continuity's sake.
But I would rather go a different direction. Antoine Okafor, shout out to you, bro. Appreciate the support. He says, hashtag late night hype. Do you feel Dak will become less mobile when he comes back next year?
No.
Nah, my answer is no to that.
Yeah, I don't think he's super mobile now. We always ask him to run more, but I'm going to be honest with you.
He runs funny. Don't run.
You know what I think he needs to do, and I said it before? Hit up Russell Wilson in the offseason and
learn how to slide baseball, because he don't know how to slide.
He don't want to.
He know how to truck.
He wants to truck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Fullback.
He lead head first when he go down.
Is that
Their stiff arm
boy
groove is good too, and that's probably how they can grab onto that stiff arm. Yeah. That's crazy too.
Let me know, guys out there. Is the music too loud behind us? I put some music over us. I like it during the hashtag late night hype. T-Mac, hashtag late night hype. CD getting 1,000 yards this year. He only needs 250. We got 3 games left. Ooh. Yes or no? CD getting a rack.
That's gonna be tough. We got Philly, we got the Giants, and we got
He can do it if they put GG in.
Garrett,
Yeah,
Gadget.
if they put GG in, especially that Giants game, especially if they trying to throw it, I think they'll throw the hell out of it.
I'm going to go no.
I think no.
I think he'll fall short.
I think he's gonna fall short.
I just don't think Andy Dalton's good enough to get him to rock.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Remember, this is hashtag late night hype. So if you guys are doing regular comments, I'm going over those right now. Steve Lupton, late night hype. Will the boys beat the remaining NFC East teams left on their schedule, which would be the Giants and the Eagles? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm nervous as hell to play the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. I am.
Yeah, I think he's gonna turn up.
Dog.
He's gonna turn up. The only thing
not
that's going
saying
up
like
is
Jalen.
that we're in Dallas.
I'm just thinking of like Driscoll last year.
I
you
really
know,
wanted to
all of
play
the
Wentz.
quarterback that can run. All he had to do is pull up the Arizona tape and also pull up the Russell Wilson tape and the what is it called? The team we just played, the Ravens tape. That's all he had to do.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like they're going to put on that Ravens tape and just say, well, let's copy it. And think about it. Doug Peterson, he does better with every other quarterback. Think about it. Jalen Hurts comes in first game, beats a 10-2 team. That was on a 9-game win streak. That was the number 1 defense in the NFL. Nick Foles does great with Nick Foles. For whatever reason, him and Carson Wentz just don't really mesh. So I'm a little nervous about it. And I hate the Eagles, dog. I want to beat them. I told y'all earlier in the year, I don't care if we don't win another game. Beat Philly. But it makes me nervous because they have a running quarterback, a damn good running quarterback. And Miles Sanders is not a joke. And we can't stop the run. So, I don't know.
Hey, you got another one right here. Hashtag late night hype. Stelios 300 with another $10 holla. Says, I'm going to try to go to that game. Y'all going? Y'all bring me on the show. I ain't going because COVID done smacked me in the face. But hey, we can definitely make it happen where we can do we can get you on the show, Stelios. I mean, that's the guys.
Hey, we should do a episode
Stelios.
Where we bring them in, like I think it's on StreamYard. I think they can just pop the link in. They can pop in. We should do that one time.
Oh yeah,
Stelios earned it.
Dominic Austin with the hashtag late night hype. Personal preference for the next defensive coordinator. I told you Terrell Austin as well. He doesn't even have a resume as a DC in the league, but I don't think he does. But he's an assistant on the Steelers. So what about you, Law?
The 49ers defensive coordinator. Well, he's gonna be looking for a head job, right?
Yeah, I'm about to say. I feel like he's gonna be looking for a head coaching job, but yeah. He's also
come on back, man. If they ain't giving you no real deal over there, I know it's a different scheme, but
I need a fourth. Come on. Yeah. How about you, James?
It's going to be tough because I'm feeling what you're saying, Sky. When you look at Mike McCarthy and his history, that he loves 3-4. That's what he is. Mm-hmm. I really have to really dive into the 3-4 guys, the guys that I like Leslie Frazier, the Todd Bowles. Remember you mentioned him? Yeah. I like those guys, but those guys are on teams already.
I love that you said that, James. I'm about to get you. I'm about to corner your ass. So. About to back your ass in the corner. But look, he been boxing, so I'm gonna have to duck it down.
Get him.
All right, so you brought up Leslie Frazier.
I like Leslie.
Let me turn the music off for this one. You brought up Todd Bowles. Mm-hmm. These are older guys that have been around the league for a long time, but for whatever reason, you don't want good old son of a bum Wade Phillips. I got to know why, man.
The main reason why I don't want Wade Phillips back, it's not even because I know, right? Because I know he's a beast. Everywhere he goes, he makes it work. But I just feel like when you leave the organization, much like with Chris Richard, and then you just try to come back, I feel like it just don't work. And I just feel like it will happen like that with Wade Phillips as well. Listen, just in my opinion, it may not, but I just feel like when you already been here and you had the history and you coming back, I just feel like it's not going to work.
Don't we got time?
We got hella time
on our side.
Time heals all, right? That was 10 years ago, 13
But
years
I
ago.
believe that they're gonna upgrade it with George Edwards. I think that he's gonna be probably the next defensive coordinator.
I'm telling you,
I think they're gonna stay in house.
I don't see it no more. Remember, we thought, okay, George Edwards, but if he wants 3-4, that George Edwards is not your guy.
Right.
He's not. So
that's what we're going to see when we ask Fish. Is it going to be the Jones picking, or is it going to be Mike McCarthy? And he was saying Mike McCarthy needs to have this pick. Remember when we said that? So that's what we got to find out.
You just piqued my antennas. It's very important that you said who is it going to be, Jones or Mike, because who was the one on the radio saying I'm having regrets defensively?
Mm-hmm.
Who was the one? Jerry.
Jerry.
I think we might have made. I would love to start over. I would love a do-over on defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if that do-over is, damn it, we should have never went 3-4. I want to go back to 4-3.
That's what I'm saying, and that's where, because me and BJ was talking about this, because he brought it up to me when we talked about that interview. He said, well, I dropped the ball. I didn't want to make this, I shouldn't have made this change. And guess what Jerry does? I'm comfortable. So let's go back to the comfortable. We got 4-3 personnel, and then guess what? I got this guy named George Edwards who's been sitting in the cut, laying in the cut, and is comfortable. You're familiar. And guess what? He used to coach with Mike Zimmer, who Mike Zimmer used to coach with, and I love some Mike Zimmer. So come on in here. That's the way Jerry operates.
Yeah, that's so many things. I was talking about Brian Broaddus. He had said something about Mike McCarthy and Mike Nolan. I said, well, we're going to tell who has some power if Mike Nolan's gone, because that's Mike McCarthy's buddy. So somebody either got in Mike McCarthy's ear and said, hey, listen, he got to go. Let's move forward. But we'll know even more about the power struggle in Dallas on what we do, in my opinion, with the defensive personnel, 3-4-4-3, because he's been 3-4 his whole career as a head coach. He likes the 3-4. I got an interesting question that I want to kind of hit on here, and I got my own theory. I'll let you guys kind of talk this out first.
No doubt.
Derek Grimsley says, #LateNightHype. I would like to know, do y'all think we will be running Kellen Moore's system next season or Mike McCarthy's West Coast offense?
It's going to be Kellen Moore's system again, I believe, because of the fact that you will have a healthy Dak Prescott back, and I think that they're going to try to say, okay, let's start this thing back again with Dak Prescott, and let's see if we can get this thing going, because we were the number one offense in the league, or top two or top three when Dak Prescott was under center.
Yeah. What about you, James? You think I'll talk mine, but yeah, Kellen Moore or Mike McCarthy's West Coast?
I mean, if he's going to be bringing them back, it's going to be, the Kellen Moore thing. But, it's funny because BJ and me were talking about this. It's like he said, not hating, but what's the point of you getting rid of Jason Garrett if you brought Mike McCarthy over? And he said, we're coming over with this West Coast offense, West Coast principle, and it's basically still the Scott Linehan, Jason Garrett type offense it was before.
But I don't know why us fans, or how would say me, because I didn't really say that because I was paying attention what Mike said. A lot of fans thought that we were bringing – no one ever came out and said we're bringing West Coast. Not a single person in the Dallas Cowboys organization. Mike McCarthy said, dog, ain't nothing changing.
Right.
We're going to change a little bit of the lingo, but why would I change what worked great last year? If anything, we're going to build on it. So here's how I want to build onto this question, because Kellen gets a lot of flack, and even from us, and I'll admit, there's times I'm like, come on, man, what you doing? But I also come back and say he's green. But just because he's green does not mean that he doesn't do a lot of good things with this offense in regards to it being potent when it's healthy. So here's what I would say. Kellen Moore, what he really needs, he needs a run game coordinator. And hear me out. When Dallas was at its peak offensively, it wasn't 2016, believe it or not. It was 2014 when Scott Linehan implemented his passing attack, right? Complemented with Callahan's run game scheme. Remember, he was the run game coordinator. Now, he wasn't happy about being demoted for Scott Linehan, but nonetheless, he was an experienced run game coordinator and a great offensive line coach. No offense to Philbin, because y'all know I think he's doing a phenomenal job. I don't think he's a run game guy. Kellen's not a run game guy. We need to get someone in here that can coach up Kellen Moore and say, hey, listen, you're phenomenal at these the passes, right? We get a ton of passes, a ton of air yards, passes, whatever. You can dial it up. But we need to be able to consistently run the rock better, and you need to be able to have a better flow of running the ball. I don't think Kellen is really good at that, in my opinion.
I can agree with that. I can definitely feel you what you're saying that, because our running game struggles really bad with him, and it's like he's quick to go like, okay, like I'm almost like Linehan-ish. When Linehan got stuffed on the first play, Linehan-ish, he go, okay, we're going to go passing. So I feel you with that, Sky. It makes a lot of sense. Let me get this quick thing out here. My dog Stelios came with 2 questions with the 2 $5 hollers back to back. He says, what about Lovie Smith as the DC, or what about Marvin Lewis? Because I remember you mentioned it, Sky, and when we was talking about this and Law, y'all both talked about this last week, mentioning it. What y'all think about that?
I don't know. I think that Mike McCarthy just recently came out on a statement saying that they didn't have continuity, and I think that maybe, just maybe, he's going to try to establish continuity. That's why Kellen Moore is going to be still at the offensive situation, and he's going to roll out that offense. And then on the defensive side, like I said, with George Edwards, it may be a situation where he said, okay, first year was a mulligan, let's just revamp everything, and let's just run this thing. So I don't think that Lovie Smith comes in.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the other guy. What was the other guy he mentioned?
Marvin Lewis.
Marvin Lewis. I don't think Marvin Lewis.
I think
coming
Marvin
in as well.
was just like Fish said, just a
that was
rule.
the
Token. I don't think it'd be Lovie, because if we're going to go 4-3, George Edwards is in house. George Edwards was under Mike Zimmer, who a lot of people think that Edwards was a DC. He wasn't, and George Iloka did talk about how he did have influence, but we all know that was Mike Zimmer's defense. He was calling the plays. That was his philosophy. It was Mike Zimmer, who was a great defense coordinator. Nonetheless, he's been around the block. He's actually been with Dallas, I think, back in the day, linebackers coach. But he's been around the NFL, and he's been under Mike Zimmer's scheme for years. So if we're going to go 4-3, I think you do stay in-house. But I'm all for the new blood in regards to defensive coordinator, unless they want to go old Wade. I'm fine with that. I really do like Wade. Wherever he goes, immediately for at least 2 to 3 years, that is a really damn good defense. Think about this for.
Go ahead.
Think about this for a second. The Rams were the 32nd ranked defense in scoring the year before Wade Phillips. The next 3 years under Wade, first, second, and 12th. You went from 32nd to first, second, and 12th. Man, I don't care how old he is. He still got it.
Well, my thing is, if you do something like that, you better really commit to trading down, getting a bunch of picks, commit to him, and commit to a defense. Like, get a 3-4 defense. Like Bill Parcells, when he said, "I'm coming in," he went, "Okay, I'm bringing 3-4 defensive guys over here."
You know what's funny?
We're drafting 3-4 defensive players, and that's what it's about. Period.
You know what's funny about that, Bill Parcells? I thought the same thing, James. I thought Bill came in and put his hand on the table. This is what I want. But Jerry came out. Bill actually fought it because he didn't think he could turn it that fast. Mm-hmm. But I guess he got talked into it, or not talked into it, decided to go with it, and it resulted in my opinion, our best defensive draft in the last 20 years. Jay Ratliff, Marcus Spear, DeMarcus Lawrence, Jason Hatcher. I mean, just a nasty draft defensively. And where did it start? Up front. So I agree with you. If you're going to go 3-4, and that was a problem this year, and I kind of talked about the draft. Our draft really didn't have a plan, if that makes sense. It was, hey, CeeDee Lamb fell to us. Boom. Hey, Trevin Diggs fell to us. Boom. Hey, Neville Gallimore fell to us. Boom. And then in the 4th round, Reggie Robinson get the center. But it wasn't like, hey, we're going 3-4. I'm going to go get 3-4 guys.
We weren't committed to it. And even in free agency, you get what I'm saying? Because if you're going to commit to it, there was plenty. This was the time, if you were going to think about really committing to a 3-4 defense, that's this past season with the defensive tackles. We talked about a Sky and Law, how deep it was defensive tackle-wise, where if you were going to do a 3-4, this was a year that you should have went after it in free agency, and they did not commit to it hard enough. So you shouldn't have expected for it to have great results when you were lukewarm with it, and that's why you got the results that you did right now.
Yeah, they was kind of in between with it,
They were
McCoy, and
they wanted to do this hybrid thing. Like
they wanted to be all poppy, and they wanted to be like, because you know what it was, y'all. They saw Cowboys fans getting tired of this dumb shit, so we gonna switch from 4-3. Get y'all. I told y'all, Jerry and them do them shut up signings. They'll do something for you. All right, y'all shut up. See, we switch it to 3-4. See, be quiet. Be quiet.
Yeah, BJ,
we got this player over here. Be quiet. Be quiet. But you know what? It ain't really committed. They just want us to shut the hell up and leave them alone.
BJ said technically it is player. You know, he did draft with a plan because he said players over scheme. Yes, you're absolutely right. He did say that. But what I mean is there was no plan of attack defensively.
Y'all didn't commit to a 3-4.
We didn't have a plan in any part of in my opinion, the offseason, be it draft or free agency. And I think if you're going to go 3-4, you can't play around. You can't. We'll put Tyron Crawford, Granny Hips out there and left, and we'll put, you know what? We're gonna slide. We're gonna put Antoine Woods and like, dog. You need to fully commit. Go look at the Steelers. They are committed to a 3. That's them. And what's wild is Mike Tomlin come from the Tampa where they was a 4-3, but when Mike Tomlin became head coach, what did Mike Tomlin do? He delegated. Right. Why in the hell would I change up everything when they got a Hall of Fame Dick LeBeau up there? Do your thing, Dick. You know what I mean? And then when he left, he brings in a guy that runs a similar. Listen. I went to school near Pittsburgh. Got a ton of Steeler fans. I don't like them when they're winning, but God damn it, I respect the hell out of that organization.
Yeah,
I just do.
They win year in and year. They're competitive year in and year out, no matter what.
They have an attitude. When you think of Pittsburgh, there's an attitude that comes with it.
But you know what? The losing season was 2003.
But you know what, though, y'all? Every year, they are committed to defense.
They're committed to their attitude, right?
Every year, they're committed to – they'll get some offensive players, but every year, they are committed to that defense. And I feel like that's why they are competitive every single year, because they commit to that defense.
I got some great questions. Well, this one's he asked Carson, what's up, Carson? He says, are we going to do a show with Brian? You damn Skippy, we going to get Broadus in here. Shit, we might have brought us in here a number of times during the offseason, specifically during draft season. For sure, we going to get him in here. Cowboy Mike, this is a great question. Which 2021 defensive free agent would you – I don't know if you guys looked, but would you get if we stay in a 3-4 defense?
I have to look because, like I said, those defensive linemen are not what they were last year, so I have to really look. Because I still hurting about your boy. I don't even know how he's doing at Arizona. Your boy that left from Buffalo.
Phillips.
Yes, Jordan Phillips. He was one that we should have never let get away. Who are you talking about now, Scott?
So there's two things here. My number one target is a different answer, but for what he says, who is your number one person if we stay in the 3-4? It has to start up front for me. And it would be Dalvin Tomlinson because I think he's a wrecker up front. And you need a wrecker up front in a 3-4. I don't care if it's at 5 tech. I don't care if it's at 0. You need one. And all this mess playing around, and I get it. I totally get it. Defensive tackles need development, right? Like Neville has to develop. Tristan Hill has to develop. But damn it, it is okay sometimes to go get a guy that's already developed and still getting better. So if I'm going to go up front, or if I'm going to go number one, if we stay in a 3-4, it'd be Tomlinson because I think he can be a wrecker. There's some other guys out there, but my number one overall free agent, aside from Dak, is Justin Simmons.
Oh yeah,
that's my guy.
Oh yeah.
What you talking about in here, Wink? He said L.A. Rams went to the Super Bowl with 12th ranked defense with Wade Phillips. Okay. Excuse me, guys. He got let go with the Rams ranked 9th. I'm not sure what you mean, Wink. Here, Wade didn't get let go. I've seen somebody say that before. Wade's contract was up, and they just decided to go in a different direction. That's totally different than being let go.
Facts. Yeah.
Again, 12th. They were 1, 2, and 12 in scoring defense under Wade Phillips. That's all I'm saying.
It's good stuff, man. Real good stuff.
Woo. What did they rank in turnovers? I'm not quite sure. I actually talked about. Yeah, I don't know what the turnovers were. Here's a funny thing about turnovers. First 7 games of the year for Cowboys, 3. Really 2, but 3. The last 7 games, 11. Can y'all imagine if we got 11 turnovers in the first when Dak was here? I think we're talking about a completely different team right now.
Different world, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Any LNHs in there?
I think Stelios, he dropped 1 and he dropped the 5 in his super chat, and he was talking about the when we gonna bring on his cousin, Jason
I told him
Hatcher.
hit him up. He know.
Who's his cousin?
Yeah.
Jason Hatcher.
What? That's your cousin?
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Cousin,
You know your cousin, so
No,
tell your cousin.
stop
Come on.
playing. Stop playing. Tell him to hit us up, man.
too.
And I know he don't hold back, boy. I see.
Hell no.
I see some of those interviews. He Tony
God.
Romo. Yeah, he go in.
Yeah, he don't.
Unless we want to release the hounds to go get him, you know. You already know who I'm talking about, right?
Or Sosa.
Yeah.
It's my guy. Speaking of which, man, let me plug my mains.
Plug. He should have a blue check mark over there.
Yeah. He should have a gold check mark for real.
And where'd it go?
Always holding it down, man. Shout out to everybody in BJ, Jim Laws. I see
Shout out to
Marvel and
BJ.
group.
We went hard yesterday in the paint, dog.
Oh, there it
Keep
is.
me up to that late till 3 in the morning.
Ahmad, Carl,
All right.
AJ. I see you, Spark Point.
Hayes Goon Squad. That's my Goon Squad right there. You talk trash, Mel got you. Make
Yeah,
sure you
man.
know
Me and Mel had our differences, but he good folks, man.
I love some Mel. If you say something about me, dog, Mel got you. Say something.
Yeah, and other people's chats too.
Yeah, other people say something.
I'll let you know.
That's my Goon Squad right there. Say something. Bet you Mel got you.
Make sure y'all hit up Sosa, man, aka the Cowboys Network on all platforms. He is truly the plug. This is truly a team effort. I see a lot of people compliment us on our show and things like that, and on the guests that we get. And yes, we also bring people on as well. But I would be remiss if I did not bring up Sosa and his contributions to the late night hype and my channel as well, with just not just guests but graphics and just insight and friendship really. So shout out to my guy. Make sure y'all subscribe and all that good thing, and follow. I don't be on Instagram all crazy. Whatever you do there, follow. Is it follow? Follow Instagram and follow on Twitter and also on Facebook. What up, Mel? I see you in there, brother.
Hey, Stella said, damn sure it's my cousin and Eric Williams. Well, shit, Eric Williams don't talk to nobody.
Remember, he don't talk.
He don't talk. Hey, and I friend requested him on Facebook. He responded to me, and then I gave him a couple comments. He responded to me, so I want to get some Eric Williams on here, boy. That'd be some super dope stuff. Because Big E don't talk to nobody.
Nobody.
I think he like a pastor.
You a pastor?
I think ain't Stelios, ain't he like a pastor or something? Like he deep in the
What
church.
he said, he was the meanest dude he ever played with or
Always
seen.
go to church.
So I wonder if he the meanest pastor, because some of them some of them church folk be mean as hell.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The ones that be the craziest is the ones that's the pastors that used to be killers. I used to be a killer. I killed 5 people. I let it alone now.
So you saying Ray Lewis is gonna be a pastor? Playing.
Oh, Ray, but wait, you ain't lying. Ray really be on some pastor shit.
Pastor Ray, the craziest ones be pastors.
Ray.
Did y'all
Ray
see
and
that
Mike,
that
man.
meme that was
Mike
going
Irvin,
around?
boy, he'll send you straight to church.
Y'all see that meme going around where it was like 5 fans sitting in the room with jerseys on, and one was Ray Caruso, one was Ray Lewis, one was Aaron Hernandez, O.J. Simpson. I said, damn, they deep.
Wow, they tripping.
The internet deep.
They wild.
They deep.
I seen that. I said, they really
Y'all
did that.
Y'all need to stop, man. You want to get a couple more of these in? I know it's getting late.
Get more in what?
LNHs.
I'm
Late
good.
night hypes. Okay. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up a little bit. You got a
Good show, by the way. It was good, man.
Oh my
It was
goodness,
great.
yes, absolutely, dog. Absolutely. It's an amazing show per usual, man. But we definitely got to get Fish back on in the offseason when these rumors.
Hey, he
start
just
flying
texted me, Sky and James. He said, man, he had a blast on the show, So
Hey, and just what he just said, Law, he said, you know what? It just like all of them say, it just makes us feel good. Well, you know what I mean? But it just makes us feel good when damn near every guest or show, and we don't ask them to say this shit at the end. They say it at the end every time. Like, look, man, I love it here. Like, I can feel cool. I feel free. I feel at home. I feel just like you seen Fish. I told you when you kick the knee up, if you kick the leg up and your knee sit, your elbow sitting on your knee like that.
Hey, listen. When Fish came in a little chat and I seen him in this chair in that room, I said, "Oh, it's about to get real." When Fish sit down in that room, he about to go in. He about to go.
I mean, he felt good today, man.
I love it.
And on top of that, it seems as if though he didn't want to leave. We clicked him off. He was still sitting there like,
He probably like, hey, I can talk some more. I didn't want to get off.
he didn't want to leave.
Y'all be y'all be letting me do the damn dirty work, and I hate it. I'll be having to tell, because sometimes I'll be like, hey, listen, to the guests, I can keep y'all going, but I don't want to do this to you. This is y'all time.
To hold y'all up and he'd be like, okay.
Y'all know how many people we done kicked off the show that way?
And they were like, they were still ready to
they
go.
Were still go.
I can keep talking.
Who was it? Was it Brianna or was it Dana that was saying like, oh my God,
It's
y'all
been
go
an
3
hour?
hours?
It was Dana. It was Dana Surratt.
Dana.
Surratt.
We gotta get Dana back on.
It was Woody. Woody was another one. I was like, hey, Woody, listen, fam. I know you said you only wanted 30 minutes, but we don't want a whole hour. I don't want to disrespect your time. There's a couple people where I just don't want to disrespect their time. You know what I mean? That's all. Like, I want y'all to come back.
Right. We don't be like,
I believe somebody gonna bless us with one of those big old mega grants, and we're gonna have like a Joe Rogan type of feel where we have a whole studio. Y'all fly in, the guests will be in the building. It's gonna be like one of those type of shows. Watch,
dope, man. Shit, hell, I'll settle for Pat McAfee. Pat got somebody dope every single day.
Oh yeah,
that happens when you play in the league.
Yeah, that's true too. We getting it for the muscle.
Darius Butler came in and he was okay, and he getting flamed now.
Wink ain't lying. Wink says Skywalker and Fish can talk for 2,000 hours between the two. You ain't lying.
He ain't lying.
He ain't lying.
Like you said, we ain't no NFL players, and we still getting the muscle.
Yeah, we getting it from the muscle, dog. Like this is, I love
This
it though, man. That's how I came up. So I love it. I love this grind, fam. I really do. I'm having a blast with my guys on this grind. Straight up.
What Raekwon said, man, niggas can't fuck with this, man.
Hold up.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, am I doing it right? Oh wait, no, that's a different anthem. Listen, listen. I ain't gonna say nothing.
Hey,
we love y'all, man. Make sure y'all subscribe. Silver Blue Nation, Dallas Cowboys Network, Law Nation, everywhere. All right, we everywhere. Y'all are awesome, man. Till next time, this Sunday, we are going to be on 49ers Cowboys. Let's get it.